Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football channel for a little Monday Chelsea FC news video. If you didn't see, the first 6 things we learned of pre-season went out yesterday for the 6-1 win against Peterborough, and I've got to be that guy who keeps plugging everything, but we're getting closer to 200k, so if you're not yet subscribed, make sure you do so. This week, I've got a feeling about it. You know, Benson sometimes gets those feelings, and then lo and behold, a few weeks later or a few days later, we see a player sign. And I've got a feeling that this week, we might actually get some new news about something, you know. But today, I've got 2 stories to talk about. One of them is a celebratory story for a brand new contract for Armando Broja, who did get himself on the score sheet against Peterborough, and he has signed a new Chelsea deal until 2026, where we've got some young strikers that don't want to sign a deal because maybe the money on offer isn't available, or maybe the playing time isn't available. Of course, talking about Tammy Abraham here. No new contract signed for Tammy, but Armando Broja has signed a new Chelsea deal. And I said it in the video before we talked about the Peterborough 6-1 win, that I do feel as though there is an opportunity for Armando Broja to be involved in the squad this season. We see countless times with Chelsea and the loan army, as it's been branded over the years. Strikers in particular, a good striker who's going to keep scoring you goals consistently for the same club, it's very rare. And in Chelsea's case, Timo Werner was obviously a big money signing last season. Olivier Giroud has now left the club. Tammy, Chelsea are reportedly looking to sell if the right offer comes in. It does mean that if you think about Werner, who was sometimes used last season as a winger, as opposed to an out-and-out striker, it leaves Chelsea very, very thin in the attacking area furthest up the field. We've got a lot of creative players in the attacking areas, but I do believe that with Broja signing this new contract, he may well be involved in the squad this season. So, Armando Broja signs a new deal. I'm very happy and excited about that. But the next story that I want to talk to you guys a little bit about today, it's not me throwing in the towel over my persistence of telling you that Erling Haaland is going to sign for Chelsea. I still believe it's doable. You know, I'm going to talk a little bit about it first, because the more that we hear about the supposed proposal that Chelsea put forward to Borussia Dortmund last week, the more it isn't a surprise that Borussia Dortmund rejected the transfer. And I think in terms of when we think of the push and pull effect of this transfer and whether it's pulling closer to Chelsea or pushing further away from Chelsea's grasp, it is looking more and more likely as the days go on, as the news comes in, that the Haaland deal is being pushed further and further away. And in terms of the likelihood that Chelsea would be his first choice in next season's bidding war, which is going to be one of the biggest in the history of football, when Erling Haaland is available for the reported £75 million next summer, I think every single club in the whole flipping continent and in the world is going to be like, well, we could sanction 75 million, so let's just see where Erling Haaland wants to go. Chelsea know that they're really the only team this season who can afford to break the bank to sign him. Next year, it becomes too competitive, and I think Chelsea are not willing to risk the idea of not bringing in a number 9 this summer. I think one way or another, whether it's Haaland, whether it's Lukaku, whether it's Harry Kane, or the man that I want to talk about today, Robert Lewandowski, I am almost 100% sure that a new number 9 striker will be walking through the door at Chelsea Football Club this summer. Now, the title of today's video is Chelsea fans, how could we possibly turn down Robert Lewandowski? Now, this is an interesting one because it is quite widely known that Bayern Munich, when it comes to their transfer business, they're the opposite of Chelsea. They don't keep quiet. They like to vocalise absolutely everything that they intend on doing or that they are doing. And it's not really a surprise when you look at just everything that happens in the Bundesliga. Dortmund, amazing players. Within a couple of seasons, Bayern Munich are like, you know what? It's time to play your tax. You know, this is our league. Give us the player now. We want him. And with Bayern Munich, the interest is obviously there for Erling Haaland as well. However, we know that Bayern Munich are not going to be coughing up 150, 175 million euros this summer to get him. And the issue is, there is talk that Lewandowski is open for a move away. And it was reported by a tabloid newspaper in the UK this weekend that Chelsea are willing to offer £50 million to Bayern Munich for Robert Lewandowski. And there's a lot of ways that we can look at this, and the first point that everyone raises about Lewandowski is that he's 32 years of age. I look at some certain footballers. You've got the likes of Olivier Giroud, prime example, seems to be getting better with age. You've got Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who's just an absolute gargantuan of an individual, of a species. Robert Lewandowski, I don't know if you can tell anything from the pictures that I'm putting up on the screen now, but this man is a little bit of a specimen. He doesn't look like a player who is coming anywhere close to the end of his career. To me, it looks as though he's only getting better. Physically, the physiology of the bloke is a joke. He's an absolute unit of a man, pretty much like the entire Bayern Munich squad. 32 years old, yes, it is a bit of an eye-opening fee, 50 million quid, for a 32-year-old striker. However, when we talk about prolific, we use that word in football often, and it obviously has been watered down a little bit, diluted when it comes to the word prolific now, and what it means and how good a striker needs to be considered a prolific striker. There is no one out there who knows anything about football that can deny that Robert Lewandowski is a prolific world-class striker. Arguably, even at 32 years of age, the best striker in the world. We know that Erling Haaland is fast on his way to becoming that striker. But if he's not available, and Chelsea do have to go for alternative options, I don't think there's anyone better, even at 32 years old, than Robert Lewandowski. 50 million quid is a lot of money, but in the bigger picture of football these days, Lewandowski is a 30-goal-a-season striker. And the way it's looking, obviously injuries can come and players' careers can be completely shut down in an instant. That's just the nature of the beast. It could happen to anyone at any age. But Lewandowski, for the last couple of seasons, has just been absolutely on fire for Bayern Munich. You look at the way this Chelsea team play, we do create a lot of chances. We're always getting into shooting positions, and I think Lewandowski would absolutely clean up. In terms of the physicality of the Premier League, we've already gone over here today just how much of a specimen this bloke is. So I don't think he'd struggle against the strength and combative nature of Premier League defenders. I think if the opportunity arises for Chelsea to sign Robert Lewandowski this summer, if they cannot go ahead and sign Erling Haaland, I'd actually say, as much as I like Lukaku as another striking option, and it would also be very nice to see him back at Chelsea, but the word nice is certainly not something that we'd think about Lewandowski if you're looking at the idea of Premier League defenders thinking about facing the best number 9 in the world next season. I think 50 million, there is any legitimacy in what is being reported here about Chelsea being interested in putting in a bid for Robert Lewandowski, then I fully endorse it. I think he's at least got 2 or 3 more years, injury depending, playing at the level that he's been playing at for the last few seasons, which nobody can argue has been above and beyond any other striker that we know in world football. So I want you guys to let me know in the comments down below. Lewandowski for 50 million, Lukaku for 80 to 100. Lukaku's got a few more years in him than Lewandowski, but for me, I just could not turn my nose up at the opportunity if Bayern Munich are in fact willing to sell. I do believe that it would become a very difficult transfer to sanction unless Chelsea give Tammy Abraham, but again, I don't believe that Bayern Munich are going to settle, no offence to Tammy, but getting rid of Lewandowski for Tammy Abraham, I don't think it's something that Bayern Munich would actually be able to sanction as a solution to losing Lewandowski. You know, you don't get those guaranteed goals with Tammy Abraham that you have in concrete historical statistical data with Robert Lewandowski. He's an absolute gargantuan footballer, and maybe, if there is any truth in these reports, it could be a magnificent Chelsea signing. However, I want to go full circle with what we said at the beginning of the video. I've not given up on Erling Haaland yet. Chelsea have made 49 million quid so far, thanks to Frank Khalid's calculations on Twitter, which I saw this morning. And I believe these funds are being raised for an absolute monstrous bid for Erling Haaland. So, as always, we will have to wait and see. And as things develop or as news comes in, you guys will be sure to find out here on GBFC, not only breaking the news, which I'm usually quite late to do because I'm 8 hours ahead here. So usually when things happen in the UK, I'm fast asleep with my flipping doggo. So yeah, you guys will hear about it as soon as I know, give you guys my thoughts. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching this Chelsea FC news video. If you did enjoy it, be sure to hit the like button. And as I said at the beginning, subscribe if you are new. And I think this week we're going to get some real news. There's things that are going to happen this week. I can sense it. And I hope you guys can too. Have a good one. Come on, you Blues.